In this video, we're going to talk about snow. That is going to be ticker symbol SNOW, Snowflake Inc. here on the weekly chart, trading just below that 240 range. We had a nice little pop in here at the beginning of the day, trading all the way up near those 249 levels, and then obviously a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of basically a cup shape in here, right? Until about that 1 or 2 o'clock time frame. Then that drop came, and then as we got closer towards the end of the day, obviously just kind of following the market. And then after market close, we had even more of a pullback just because Oracle is kind of pulling things down. Obviously, in this space, that's what's going to happen. But as far as the overall market is concerned, it looks like they didn't really care about Oracle that much. So we're going to keep an eye on that, how Oracle relates to the overall market and how snow is going to be affected accordingly. But all in all, up 22 cents on the day. So basically flat, even though we had a pop in here, we're up about $10 from where we currently are trading right now. So what are we looking at here going forward? How does this kind of correlate with the SPY? Right now, you can see we created just a little doji in here on the weekly chart. So indecision in here to the upside and downside. What are we looking at here for our first few levels? We're going to be watching that 249 area. Obviously, that was a spot that we got close to today. So that's going to be our first resistance. Anything outside of there is going to be the upper trend line of this overall structure, 252. Then we're looking at that 259 area right here. And that's based off a previous high coming back of last year. Now to the downside in here, we are going to be watching that 231 area, 225 and 214. And then eventually we have to worry about these moving averages right here that are getting really close. So you can see the separation that we had in here the whole month of April, more or less, and then May started contracting, and then June. Now we're right here. So that 205 area is where your 50-day SMA is trading. Your 9-day EMA is trading on that 199. So you got about a $6 channel right there at the moment, but we're going to see how much this is going to tighten depending on how much we consolidate up here where we're at, or are we going to get a sharp pullback either way? Or I guess we're going to get a sharp pullback, or we're going to get a nice run up either way. That's going to dictate what these moving averages do. But that is going to be the biggest area of footing for us here if we do end up falling further down than those 225s. Now, as far as your implied volatility goes in here, obviously across the board, volatility popped in here, especially towards the end of the day. We're trading back over that 20 VIX in here. So that is good. SPY pulling back in here. It looked like we were going to kind of try to set up shop right around that 729. Obviously didn't, kept pulling back. And then we had that 725 hit, little pop in here right at the end as we were getting close to close. And then obviously after close, everything just kind of fell off. And now we're trading near those mid 724s, almost 725 area on our SPYs. So that's how that's how SPY is correlating with the VIX. What the VIX is doing in here with, or the volatility is doing with snow, that is that we're still relatively juiced in here. That also may have to do with what's happening after hours right now in Oracle. But your IV rank in here is sitting at 53. It looks like options buyers are pricing in, or options traders are pricing in right around a $12 expected move in here. So your standard deviation puts are trading right at what 225 for this expiration. You're about 252 for this expiration on the call side. So that's kind of looking at your tolerances there. It looks like a little bit of a call skew either way in here. So about $1.50, $1.25, $1.50 of call skew in here to the upside is what everybody's kind of pricing in. So we're going to see how we are affected in here with what happened after hours. We're going to see how the traders respond pre-market tomorrow. And then we're going to see where we open up and then how everything correlates. But all in all, that's kind of what we're looking at in here going forward. $12 expected move this week, $20 the following. If you go all the way out to July, right around a $31 expected move in here in snow. And it's fairly liquid in here. More or less, you can kind of get in and out wherever you want, especially on those big psych level, nice whole number option expirations or options contracts, that is. So let's see what happens in here. Basically, moral of the story, printing a big indecision candle in here on the week. We're going to see what type of volatility we can take advantage of now that we do got a VIX over 20 again. And then we're going to see what happens with Oracle. We're going to see if we get any slight recovery in here tomorrow. We're going to see how that would end up affecting snow, core weave, iron, things like that, just because it's going to have a scatter effect throughout, right? So we're going to see how that affects those type of tickers and symbols, and then we're going to see how it affects the overall market and then go from there. But all in all, 240 is going to be our first and immediate resistance. Anything outside of there, we're looking at that big 249 area, which is where we basically went up and bounced off of today. So let's see how we close out this candle in snow and then see how the overall market reacts to those Oracle earnings that came out here after hours. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.